What's going on, guys? It's me, NJT, but you can call me Nick, so we're back to play some more Danganronpa, Trigger, Happy Havoc, and that's right, we're up to the 3rd class trial, so let's go! Chapter 3, class trial number 3, let's go.
It's the note that Hiro wrote,
So guys,
asking everyone to meet up after all three egos
Taka and Hifumi both died, so 2 people, so let's do this, let's find out who killed them. Everyone's saying it's Hiro, but it probably isn't.
Compare it to the blueprint.
So let's go.
There's no way you could think the same person made both of them.
It's possible.
Unless that person made it a point to
No, the differences are bigger than that, I think.
Come on! I'm not smart enough to think of trying to change my handwriting anyway.
So Makoto, are you saying you don't think Hiro's the culprit?
And he is not the only one. I think Hiro's innocent as well.
Okay, good. Yeah, cool.
Then who was in that Robo-Justice suit? Is it like Hiro said? Was there really someone running around in a second suit?
The suspicious individual hidden within the suit. Go ahead, Makoto. Tell them who it was.
So? Who was in the Robo-Justice suit?
Kyoko. The Illuminati. Hina? What?
Shoot!
Oh, I don't want to say Hina. I'm not saying Hina. Hiro.
I got it!
Yep, it's Hiro.
Other than Hiro, I can't think of anyone else it could have been. Obviously, he was the one in that particular suit. And we never found any kind of second suit.
Then there can be no doubt. Hiro is the prime suspect.
That doesn't make any sense! You just said Hiro didn't do it!
It makes perfect sense. Hiro was the suspicious individual in the suit, but he's not the culprit.
So what you're saying is...
That's right. The culprit in this case has nothing to do with being in the Robo-Justice suit.
What?
Right.
Now that's a bold assumption! And what reason do you have to make such a statement? You do have a reason, yes?
Of course. There's something else we need to clarify first.
Hey, stop trying to boss us around!
All things have a proper order.
So what is it? What needs to be clarified?
We must clarify the method of transportation
Yeah,
for
that's
Taka's
right.
lifeless body. It would seem that his corpse was moved using certain particular items. Makoto, can you
Yep. Oh. The blue top.
I got it!
Just one more thing. The dolly.
I got it! They were a dolly and a tarp, right?
What's with the
So,
attitude?
let's see if I can explain. Taka's body disappeared from when we found it for the second time. It was wrapped in a blue tarp, right? It was the same tarp that, up until then, was stored in the equipment room. So the killer must have seen it there, and decided to use it when they moved Taka's body. That way, they wouldn't leave any bloodstains while they were moving it.
Okay, that explains the tarp.
Same thing. I'm sure the dolly was in the equipment room when we first found Taka's body there. But when the body disappeared, so did the dolly. Later, when Taka's body reappeared in the repository, so did the dolly.
Yeah, that's right.
In other words, you think they used the dolly to move the body. Am I right? But are you sure you are not mistaken?
Huh?
Are you absolutely positive the dolly was in the equipment room when we found Taka's body? That dolly was made specifically for moving large objects between the repository and the art room. It would be very strange indeed to discover it had made its way to the equipment room. Is it not possible that it was in the repository all along, and you simply didn't realize it?
She's raised an objection. How do you respond?
There is no shame in being wrong. Nobody expects much from you anyway.
Excuse
We
me?
have all accepted the fact that you rarely understand what is going on around you.
Oh wow, what a piece of crap. Yes, please. Which place is gonna kill me? Let's talk about reloading. Starting with this next bullet time battle, we're gonna add one more ingredient to the recipe. On the bottom of the screen, underneath the tempo marker, you see your ammo count. Up until now, there hasn't really been a limit on how you destroy your opponent's statements. But from now on, just locking on and pressing them in the left mouse button won't be enough to handle them. Now it will cost you 1 bullet to destroy a single remark. Oh, right. How do I reload? Because I'm on controller. It says how PC stuff. Alright, so we gotta reload, but I don't know how to reload because it doesn't say.
You had it wrong! I cannot agree!
Wait, what? Already?
Fool! So pathetic! Lies will get you nowhere! Do your worst! Away with you!
Okay, that's how you reload. I know how to reload.
You miserable wretch!
Whoa, this is fast.
I cannot agree! You are a fool! Lies will get you nowhere! Do your worst! You miserable
Why am I
wretch!
fighting already?
You have it wrong!
What?
I cannot agree! You are a fool! So pathetic! Lies will get you nowhere! Do your worst! Away with you!
Oh, what?
I cannot agree!
This should prove it.
There we go. Take that. Piece of crap.
If you're asking for proof that the dolly moved, I have it right here. When I found the dolly in the repository, one of the wheels had a blood stain on it. There was a pool of blood in the equipment room with a tire mark in it that matched the dolly wheel's tread.
Yeah,
The
exactly.
killer probably rolled the dolly through the blood on accident. As they wheeled the body out of the room, and as the blood dried on the tire, they moved the body into the repository. So there's my proof that the dolly was used to move Taka's body.
Well, anyway, that was just something we had to get out of the way. Let's get back to the main subject.
Yeah! The subject of how Robo-Justice didn't do it. Cause if it's not, what kind of robot is it?
I'm not sure that really matters.
I'd be happy to explain why the occupant of the suit couldn't possibly be the killer. If you
Why?
look back on how the body was transported,
Alright, let's see. Here we go. So I still got bullets, right? Like amount of bullets.
as
Oh,
we
no,
know,
that's only
Taka
for
was
that.
killed in the equipment room.
And from there,
Yeah, the culprit wrapped the body and then loaded it onto the dolly and wheeled it off.
Now, keep in mind that the
Well, yeah. All you'd have to do is then you could push
Oh,
the
no.
dolly no problem.
Damn it, I missed
so the
that.
killer imparted the body.
if you accept everything, then you must realize that sorry, I don't think
Okay,
I realized.
I missed one.
As we know, and from there,
Yeah, the then loaded it onto the dolly.
now, keep in mind that
Well, yeah. All you'd have to do is bend over.
You can't bend over though. Wait,
Then you
what?
could push the dolly so the killer
Wait, why didn't that work?
if you accept everything, you must realize that
Wait, that didn't
sorry,
work.
I don't think I
What just happened? It didn't work.
as we know, and from there,
Yeah, the then loaded it on.
now, keep in mind.
Well, yeah. All you'd have to do is bend over.
You can't bend over though. Remember, it's a suit. Sorry, Hina, but that is wrong.
You're absolutely right that you could push a dolly, but if you were wearing that suit, do you think you could
No, you
actually
couldn't,
get
'cause you
into a
can't bend
position
over.
like that?
What do you mean?
Think back to what you said when we were all checking out the suit together. Remember?
You couldn't bend over.
When you're in that suit, not only can you not see your feet, but you can't even bend at the waist. Am I right about that?
Now that you mention it, yeah.
It seems like it'd be awfully hard to push that dolly if you couldn't bend over.
Well, what's to stop you?
Oops.
When you can't even see your feet? You really think someone could kick the dolly all that way?
Yeah, it'd be totally impossible. Not that I can say for sure myself.
On top of that, if you were wearing such a rigid, cumbersome suit, it's very unlikely you would have the dexterity to go about wrapping the body
Yeah,
in a
exactly.
tarp.
Well, I mean, isn't that just a matter of taking off the suit when you're ready to move the body?
Oh, here's not strong enough. You can't take off the suit by yourself.
I got it! I don't think taking off the suit was an option.
Yeah. That's right.
It's true. It seems impossible.
Then, you really can't take it off by yourself? Hero wasn't just making it up?
No, he wasn't.
Of course I wasn't making it up.
If he could have gotten it off by himself, I don't think he would have let us see him wearing it. Showing up in the suit was basically an invitation for everyone to suspect it.
Yeah, that's right.
So, it's really, really true that Robo Justice couldn't have moved the dolly?
To be clear, whoever did move the body, it couldn't have been Hero in the robot suit, correct?
No, wait. Just a second, if you please. Have you forgotten about...
What picture? Oh, that.
You all got a good look at it, did you not? The image of Hifumi being... If whoever was in that suit is not... Besides, do you remember what the now deceased Hifumi said? So long as those facts exist, the proper conclusion is beyond question. The individual inside the suit and the culprit are one and the same. Yeah.
Hold on a second.
It's still far too early to reach that conclusion. Besides, there's no hurry to decide who did it before we rush to a verdict. Shouldn't we explore every single possibility instead of seizing on one viewpoint? The truth is uncovered by analyzing things from every angle.
Perhaps. But where do we go from here?
Let's review this series of unfortunate events from the beginning. Maybe we'll uncover something new.
I don't disagree, but our lives are on the line. If this is what it takes.
Plus,
Yeah, we have
maybe we'll get to find out where the heck Kyoko was when everything went down.
All right then. Let's take another look back at what happened. I suppose we could start with this morning. 4 of us gathered together and we waited there for quite a while. That was around...
And as soon as we split up,
Soon after that, Hina found some...
it seems I was unconscious. I know it was an hour.
We were soon joined in our search by Byakuya and Toko. And then went, but not long after...
Yeah, I remember what happened. You don't have to read everything again. We already know what happened. I'm not gonna go through all this again. Yeah, and then Taco was dead.
But when we...
Then when we got back, they were both dead.
Now then, let's get started.
Oh, let's do this. It's Crazy Frog. Bing, bing.
So, regarding I wonder if he dealt with perhaps it was... We already know what order they were killed in. Taka came last.
What makes you say that?
Because of the numbering of the Justice Hammers.
Uh-oh, no, not good.
So, I wonder if he or perhaps it was... We already know what order they were killed in. Taka came last.
What makes you say...
Because of the numbering of the...
It's true that Hifumi was while Taka's death, but...
See?
Oh, it's the
So
first
it's
one.
obvious Taka came last. So, I wonder if or perhaps it was... We already know what order they were killed in.
What?
So, regarding Taka, I wonder if he or perhaps it was... We already know what order they were killed in. Taka came last.
What makes you say that?
Because of the numbering of the Justice Hammers.
There we go.
No, it's wrong.
Sorry, that's wrong, Hina.
Hold on. There's no reason to assume that the hammers were used in the same order as their numbers. If anything, that's just another...
So you're saying the culprit wanted us to think the hammers were used in order, but in reality, Taka was killed before Hifumi? Okay
Yeah,
then,
probably.
let's see the proof.
Alright, here we go again. Oh, it's one of these. Okay, it's just W then. wristwatch! No, it was wristwatch! It was wristwatch! No, it was wristwatch! It was wristwatch! It was the wristwatch! And why do you kill me for that? It was wristwatch! Wristwatch!
I refuse to give up yet.
Wristwatch! 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 My god! Wristwatch. Wrist. Where's I? Where's S? Oh. There, got it. Wristwatch. See?
Now I understand.
I remember his wristwatch. I remember that, and the times on it. I remember.
I've got it. See? Look.
It must have gotten broken when he was attacked by the killer. Because as of last night...
Yeah, that's
So
right.
if it wasn't broken after 6 last night, then he must have been attacked around 6 this morning.
And that would be his official time of death.
But if that's true, then he was killed well before Hifumi.
And before Celeste was attacked this morning, which happened around 7.
That's right. Taka was killed before any of the other incidents took place.
That simple fact slipped past all of us. We made the wrong assumption about the order of events,
that's
all
right.
because of those justice hammers.
That's exactly why the culprit wrote the numbers on each hammer and had them increase in size. That way, when we saw how they were used in each incident, we'd easily make that wrong assumption.
Now, if Taka was killed around 6, then everyone's alibi because when he was killed, we hadn't met up in the dining hall yet.
Yep.
That may be true in the case of Taka's murder, but all of our alibis still hold true for Hifumi's death.
Yeah,
That's
true.
right. With him, at least, we're all safe.
Yeah, that's right. And then he's dead.
That's totally true.
Oh, I know! They must have recorded him screaming on a tape or something!
If that's true, where's the tape?
I don't know.
Don't just go making stuff up.
Anyway, we all have rock-solid alibis for when we heard Hifumi scream. Since
Yeah.
all of us were there together, clearly none of us could have killed him.
And it does not stop there. There was also the moment when we discovered his body had disappeared. When his body vanished from the nurse's office, Hina and I were in the bathroom together, while everyone else was in the equipment room, correct? And then there's the at that time, we were all kept. Well, don't forget, I was past.
Shut up.
Then what if Genocide Jill did it?
Even if she could pull that off, there's no way she could have done the same because, as we just established, she was passed out in the equipment
that's
room
right.
when his body disappeared.
Besides, I didn't do either of them anyway. In other words, it is impossible that any of us could have killed Hifumi or moved either of their bodies. On the other hand, Hiro and Kyoko had disappeared, so they most certainly could have.
Yeah, exactly.
So what now, Kyoko?
For now, we can't get fixated on who did it, or we'll just keep going around in circles. So instead of who, I propose we start talking about how. In particular, I think we need to figure out how
Well,
Hifumi's
where was
body
she? I
got
want to know
moved.
where she was.
That's
She
true.
better tell
We
us.
searched everywhere, but we couldn't figure out how to explain his body disappear. And according to what Celeste said, his body apparently disappeared in the 1 minute her and Hina took their eyes off of it. But to carry that much weight from the first floor up to the third in that short amount of time?
Oh man, yeah! There's no way!
Well, what if I told you there was a way to make the impossible
What?
How?
if the dead body were to move itself?
The dead body moved on its own?
I mean,
No!
I don't think it has
It's
anything to do
possible.
with the... We thought Hifumi was dead.
yeah, Hifumi was still alive.
Alive?
Are you saying
Remember?
Hifumi wasn't carried out of the nurse's office, but simply walked out on his own?
But I
Yeah,
mean,
it's
we
possible.
found his body.
No, but he was
Perhaps he was
alive,
simply
remember?
playing dead.
That it isn't possible.
Yes, it's possible. I remember. He was alive. He was alive when Hina on the
Are you saying
teardrop
that when
on
we
it.
first found Hifumi, there's a chance he was actually still alive?
No, it is impossible.
Oh,
Hifumi was dead, and you know that shortly you heard the body, but Hifumi's dead body had been found, and that is why the announcement was made.
Are we really? Maybe the announcement was intended to signal someone else's discovery.
Oh no. Shoot! Crap. These stupid
Are
words
you
are blocking
saying that when
everything.
we first found there's a chance he was actually still alive?
No, oh no. Shoot! Crap!
Are you saying that when we first there's a chance he... No. Hifumi was dead, and you know that. Shortly you heard the body discovered. Hifumi's dead body had been found.
Oh no. Shoot!
Are you saying that when we first found Hifumi and then there's a chance he was actually still alive?
No. It is impasse. Hifumi was dead, and you know that. Shortly you heard the body discovered. Hifumi's dead body had been found. And that is why the announcement was made.
Are we really? Maybe the announcement was intended to signal someone else's discovery.
Oh damn it. Holy crap, that took so long.
Was the body discovery announcement that was made
That took me
really
way
intended
too
for
long to
Hifumi?
do. Jeez, it took me a while to figure out how
Of
to
course
do
it was.
Maybe. But
That's right. It wasn't long after finding his body that we heard the announcement.
so there's a good chance we've made a mistake. I think we've confused whether the announcement was for Hifumi or Taka.
First of all, if 2 bodies had been found, there really should have been 2 announcements.
Maybe Monokuma simply got lazy.
What do you say, Monokuma? Any comment?
Well, it's a very sensitive issue, so I can't go into too much detail. But what I can say about the body discovery announcement is that it's only broadcast when 3 or more people find a dead body for the first time.
That didn't answer our question, man. We're asking if you're a lazy bum.
No, actually, that was plenty. He said it's only broadcast when a body is discovered for the first time. Which means even if we find the same body again later, he won't make the announcement again. If that's true, then why was the announcement made again?
Huh? Later on?
Exactly. We heard the body discovery announcement twice.
If that was my bad. What?
I got it!
How'd I get all
We
them
heard it
wrong?
a second time in the repository when we rediscovered the 2 bodies. It didn't seem weird at the time.
Exactly. If we were actually rediscovering both bodies, the announcement shouldn't have played.
And in reality, when the 2 dead bodies were rediscovered, one of them was actually being discovered for the first time.
So, when we found Hifumi the first time in the nurse's office, he wasn't actually dead yet. Meaning, he wasn't actually found dead until we came upon him in the repository.
And that's
that's
just
right.
part of it. There's one other thing that leads me to believe he was still alive in the nurse's office.
Oh, I know! Because he was super good at playing dead!
That is the worst logic I have ever heard. But honestly, I do not...
Okay then, let's take another look at the events surrounding the discovery of his body. Then it should become clear whether he was really alive or not.
This whole thing is pointless. Well, here's one thing we do. The first time we found Hifumi's body, then his body disappeared.
And the next time, it was in.
But when you compare his body before, other than the change in how it was positioned, there was no notable difference.
Yeah, there was. His glasses were clean.
In fact, there was one clip his glasses. That fact alone proves that he was only playing dead in the beginning.
Perhaps you'd like to fill the rest of us in?
When we found...
And then when we found him, his
But
glasses
when
were
they
clean.
were spotless. And I found the item he used to wipe them clean.
Where is it? There.
I got it! It was a glasses cleaning cloth. One look at the bloodstain on the cloth should make things clear. This piece of cloth was used to wipe Hifumi's glasses clean, and the mascot on the cloth is the same one that's on the digital camera, right? And whose digital camera was it? Hifumi's, of course.
The character was...
I highly doubt anyone but Hifumi would have brought something like...
I see your point. And the only people
I wouldn't be caught dead using a tacky piece of garbage like that.
A few tissues is all I need to keep my glasses clean.
Then there's no question. It belonged to Hifumi.
So what you're saying is... What exactly?
What I'm saying is, the blood on his glasses was wiped away using his own glasses cleaning cloth.
Even if that is true, it does not mean he wiped the blood off himself.
But who would benefit from a clean pair of glasses other than the glasses owner?
That's a good point.
And it must have been him, right?
So let's assume that Hifumi was still alive in the nurse's office. He pretends to be dead. Then when he's alone, he wipes his glasses clean so he can see. Then he stands up and walks out on his own 2 feet. And with that, the impossible task of moving his copious corpse becomes possible, wouldn't you say?
But then, if he was just pretending to be dead, what was with all that blood?
I don't know, man. I don't know.
The fridge in the nurse's office contains packs of blood for emergencies.
He figured if he was gonna play dead, he should go all out. Somebody got crazy with it and had to wipe his...
And if Hifumi was still alive at that point, the disappearance of Taka's body is easily explained. It should be perfectly obvious who must have moved Taka's corpse.
I got it! It could only have been Hifumi.
While we were all gathered in the nurse's office, he went to the equipment room and took Taka's body.
That also explains how the door to the repository got locked.
The door was locked? Well, after the bodies disappeared, we all went looking for them, right? So me and Sakura headed for the repository. But when we got there, the door was locked.
And the repository door can only be locked from the inside, which means when Hina and Sakura got to the repository, someone was already inside.
And it could only have been Hifumi, who just finished stashing Taka's body there.
He convinced us all he was dead, and when he saw his chance, he dragged Taka's body to the repository.
Why would he do that,
Hifumi
though?
wasn't just another victim in this case. He was one of the assailants.
But that means he took part in the murder.
I just can't believe it.
If you're having trouble, would you like me to show you one more piece of evidence?
There's more?
Oh, absolutely. The single biggest fact pointing to his involvement has yet to be revealed. You know what I'm talking about, right, Makoto?
The thing that Hifumi stole from Taka. Oh, my bad. Sorry, it was the, it was this.
I got it! You're talking about the note he...
Hidden note?
That's right. We found it stuffed in his pants.
What? In his pants?
Yes, his pants.
Okay, well, forget about the pants for now. Take a look at what the note says.
That's the note I was telling you about. The one that told me where to go. Huh? Wait, this one's a little different. Monokuma can't find out.
I see. Then this note isn't the same one Hiro got.
It's not the same?
In other
No, it's
words,
different.
the killer got in touch with another person besides Hiro, and that person could only have been...
Taka. Hifumi's pants, come on.
That's right! Taka! The killer used this note to draw out Taka and murder him.
Hello? Over here. I don't really understand what's going on, but Hifumi had that letter, right? So whoever wrote it wasn't drawing out TikTok. They were drawing out Huffy. Just to be clear, TikTok is Taka and Huffy is Hifumi. Oh, yes!
Crazy Frog. Oh, crap. Broken wristwatch, Hifumi's glasses. I don't know.
Huffy had the note, right? Then the person it was intended for must have been Huffy!
But remember what the note said.
What time did it say?
6 a.m.
The time doesn't matter. The note has nothing to do with TikTok!
There we go.
No, it's wrong. No, there absolutely is a connection.
What the hell are you talking about?
The note said to meet at 6 a.m., which is the same time Taka was murdered. We've already proven that using his wristwatch. But there's more. Look where the note says to meet. The equipment room, right?
Which is where Taka was killed. I see.
So, Taka was murdered at both the time and place written in the note. I think that should be plenty to show that this note was definitely meant for Taka.
Well, when you put it like that... No further objections!
Then someone used that note to trick Taka. Just the same as me. The culprit really is a cold-blooded monster. Telling people they found a way out.
But if they gave the note to Taka, what was Hifumi doing with it? Stuffed down his pants, no less!
Most likely. Hifumi stole it off Taka's corpse after he died.
Where's your proof? Go ahead, show.
Oh, he's gonna do this again. There.
I got it!
There's your proof, Yakuya.
When I searched Taka's body, I saw that his lifeless hand was gripping a small scrap of paper. If I'm right about this, the sheet... I knew it! It fits perfectly with...
And Taka's scrap and Hifumi's note.
Yup, they're from the same piece of paper.
Hifumi had the note meant for Taka, while Taka's corpse still grasped a small piece of that note. There's only one way to explain it.
Taka died clutching the note. Hifumi tried to free the note from his death grip, leaving behind only one small skirt. Did I get all that right?
That means Hifumi knew the note was important.
Exactly. Which proves that he was an accomplice in the murder.
Yeah. After seeing all this, Hifumi was super involved in this whole thing for sure. In fact, he was behind the whole thing.
Sorry, no.
He's not still alive, he's dead.
When we found him in the repository, Hifumi was truly and completely dead. The second body discovery announcement proves that.
So then, who killed Hifumi?
Whoever did is the mastermind, the true killer.
He was killed in the repository. So he must have been killed not long after transporting Taka's body.
Yeah.
So, he must have been killed after Taka's body vanished, but before we found both bodies in the repository.
During that time, we'd all split up and were searching for Taka's missing body. In other words, during that time, none of us have alibis.
Wait, but me and Sakura were together. Stop trying to steal the spotlight, you stupid... Who are you calling a wolf?
Anyway, when they were killed bothers me too. But there's something that's been bothering me even more.
And what might that be?
The weapon they used to kill Hifumi.
The weapon?
Yeah, because I mean, according to the Monokuma file, the way Taka and Hifumi were killed was almost the same, with them having similar fractures and all. But Justice Hammer 3 and 4 were still laying around in the nurse's office and equipment room, right? So if Hifumi was killed in the repository, the culprit would have had to grab one of the hammers, kill Hifumi, then put the hammer back where they found it. But wouldn't that be seriously risky for him?
I'm surprised. It seems there's some semblance of a brain knocking around that skull of yours after all.
Hell yeah!
He's right, though. I don't understand it either. The Monokuma file makes it clear that they were killed using similar instruments. But if the hammers were already laying around those other rooms...
So the question is, how could the culprit have gotten their hands on either of the hammers? Personally, I haven't a clue. So which hammer was used to attack Celeste? Number 1 or number 2?
Those were accounted for in other rooms too. And I don't think either one is big enough to kill someone.
Then...
Is it not possible they used a different weapon?
Yeah,
I think it
maybe.
is possible. They were both killed with the same kind of thing, right?
So then, what was used to kill Hifumi?
Oh, let's figure this one out.
What was used to kill Hifumi? Was it Justice
that was too
Hammer
obvious.
3?
What was used? Was it just maybe justice?
Well, what there's one, how was the culprit able to, how did nobody witness them carry? Sounds like a Justice Hammer 5 is about to make its appearance!
Oh no.
Shoot!
Crap.
What was used? Was it just maybe justice?
Well, there's one, how was the culprit, how did nobody Sounds like a Justice Hammer! Check out murdergear.com!
Well, one thing, the murder weapon had to be one of the Justice Hammers.
There we go.
No, it's wrong. The murder weapon wasn't a justice hammer at all. No, it was something completely different.
Yeah, because one of them was spotless.
Seriously? A different weapon?
Yep.
Specifically, a hammer from the repository. The killer could have easily used that to kill Hifumi. Now, all the hammers in the repository were covered in flecks of grit and debris. But for some reason, one of them had been scrubbed clean.
That's right.
And the reason it had been scrubbed clean was most likely because it was used to commit murder. If the hammer got covered in Hifumi's blood, of course they'd have to clean it off. I'd also like
If that's true, that would explain the Monokuma file's note about the wounds being similar.
So Hifumi moved Taka's body to the repository, where someone then used a hammer to kill him.
Whoever did that is the true killer. The one Hifumi was working with. And the one who betrayed him. Hold on a moment. I still think it's strange to assume someone was working together with him. The way the graduation rule works, there is no benefit to helping someone else carry out a murder. So the idea that anyone would work together like that is simply ludicrous. We talked about this, did we not?
Here we go again.
Based on the rules that have been, even if more than one, only the one who actually cares, assuming the rule holds true. It is simply,
That is.
but that only really applies. In this case, however, there were two murders.
Oh no.
Shoot!
Crap.
Based on the rule, even if more than one, only the one who actually, assuming the rule holds true.
It is simply impossible that two people work together.
Sorry, my bad. I know what to do.
Based on the rule, even if more than one, only the one who actually carried, assuming the rule holds true. It is simply impossible.
That is.
But that only really applies. In this case, however, there were two murders.
No! Uh-oh. Okay, I know what to do. I know what to do. I know what to do.
Since there were two...
Naturally, if only one person can be saved per murder, an accomplice has no risk versus reward benefit.
Yeah, that's
risk
right.
versus reward benefit?
The payoff for working together. The reward that there's no point in being someone's accomplice if there's no benefit to you. However, if there were some potential mutual reward for the risk, then cooperation becomes possible.
You're saying that two people could act as each other's accomplices to commit two separate murders.
I think that's what the true killer told Hifumi. They would each have an accomplice for their crime, and based on the case's events, Hifumi would have been the first one to act, murdering Taka. They made him carry out the first murder so he couldn't back out of helping them later on.
So in this case, there wasn't one single person committing multiple murders. Instead, each person killed someone,
Probably.
creating two separate incidents. And it only looked like one person because that's how the true killer designed it to look. A single suspicious individual, a similar weapon used in each crime, disappearing bodies. By creating one seamless set of circumstances, they made it look like one person was behind it all.
The mastermind picked their target and managed to convince him to go along with their plan. And then, to avoid the no accomplices rule, they simply killed their accomplice. Which, if true, means that betraying Hifumi was part of the plan from the very beginning.
That's just awful! How could anyone be so—
You think so? I can't help but admire its cunning. Still, their choice of accomplice seems odd.
Problem numero uno!
True killer. Ooh! choose?
Here's my answer.
I don't know, I'm just picking Celeste.
It was Celeste.
So I'm the suspicious individual now, am I? I really do hate this kind of joke.
A joke? I wonder.
Alright guys, I think I'm going to end the video here, so please leave a like guys, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next thing. I'm not Sugar Happy Havoc video. So like and subscribe, bye bye.